We're in rural Jamaica, and there's not a lot of employment around here, and most of the people are farmers, they're fishermen. They do at least 5 different things to hustle and make some money. And the yards are mature, and that means that they've graduated from being used for vegetable farming to then banana and plantains, and then the fruit trees that were planted in the beginning at the establishment of the yard are now huge, big, mature fruit trees, and they're shading out the land, and so it can't be used for vegetables or bananas and plantains anymore. And the fruit trees are bearing, which is wonderful, but when the season is done, that land isn't producing anything. And so we got the idea to import the skill to grow shiitake and oyster mushrooms on logs outside under fruit trees. And we're very excited about this idea, and we've talked to a lot of the farmers around here, and they're very interested because they're always looking for another way to make money, and this way makes use of the space that's going unused on their land, and logs, pieces of wood that would also be unused, maybe used for firewood, and so this is a more productive use for that wood. And everybody's interested. We're raring to go. We're very excited. We're very grateful to Partners of the Americas, who is funding Nick to come down, our teacher, a mushroom farmer from America, and he's going to teach us how to grow shiitake and oyster mushrooms. Eventually, our goal is to create a farmers cooperative, a growing cooperative, mushroom growing cooperative, and to have tools, like a lending library available for anyone who wants to grow mushrooms but doesn't have the money to invest in their own chainsaw or inoculation tools. So we're going to have fun, and we're going to learn something useful, and it's going to be wonderful.
Hi, I'm Nick, and today we're going to grow shiitake mushrooms in Jamaica. We have gone out and selected a number of tree species that you see here, and we are going to test a few different types of wood. We have Spanish elm, guango, cocoa wood, basida, among others.
And almond.
And almonds,
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these logs. They've been freshly cut within this last week, and we're going to bring them over to our inoculation table. We're going to start drilling into the logs with our converted angle grinder, and I'll get more detailed on the spacing of the holes and drilling afterwards. After that, we'll then fill the logs with inoculum that we have for shiitake, and we'll do that with a couple of our inoculation tools. Look like this. And we'll have a lot of help from all of our helpers. We have our last step is waxing the holes here. So this is our wax station. And we're melting wax right now in preparation. And then once we're done with the logs and waxing, we will bring them back to our laying yard over here, and they will sit and incubate, and the spawn run will occur where the shiitake mycelium should grow throughout the log and fully colonize the log before it's ready to produce mushrooms.
Okay, great. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is the mushroom spawn. I brought this with me, but this can also be produced here. It's basically sawdust that has, like the white is the mycelium, and it's growing. It's alive right now, and it's growing off the sawdust until we transfer it into here.
Okay.
And then it'll grow throughout the log, and it'll take like 6 months to a year before mushrooms come out. So this is what we call just inoculating logs. So first step is we drill the holes into the logs with this tool, and we roll it down here. And then step 2 is taking our inoculation tool, and we fill up this little chamber with the spring. Yeah, and it creates this little plug.
Wait, can I see the plug, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that just transfers it to the log, and we fill up each of the holes. I do it a couple times in like that, just so it makes it like a firm plug. And then I hit it a couple times in here so that this mycelium's actually like below the hole, because then when we wax it, it'll make a better seal. And the waxing, it like basically is recreating the bark layer so that it keeps the moisture in here, because this is moist. And then it protects it from like other bugs or anything like that, easily to make it easily accessible to get to the spawn. Because this is like kind of like sweet nectar to some birds and whatever else is out there in the tropics. Yeah. Holes generally, depending on the size of the log, will go on 4 sides and make 4 rows. And the only reason why we make rows is so that, you know, you could put it all over the log, and more holes would just make it better for the log to be colonized with the mushroom spawn. But we do it in sort of the pattern just so that when we go to each of the steps, we know where to put the spawn in and put the wax on. And it's just basically a little assembly line. And we're going to try to get 100 logs done. We've got 2 done so far. But we haven't been at it for too long. And yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. I'm sure some will pop up as you come to it.
How many pounds of mushrooms does one log produce, and how long does it produce mushrooms?
So it'll produce mushrooms for the first time in 6 months to 12 months. And then you'll be able to get your first flush. And then you rest the log for 6 weeks, and you can get a second flush. And each flush, I find, gets about a 1/4 pound to a 1/2 pound of mushrooms. So you can do that about 3 times in warm climates per year. So you can get between a 1/2 pound or 3/4 pounds and a 1.5 pounds in 1 year. And then the log will keep on producing mushrooms after that each year for about 5 to 7 years. So total would be close to 7 pounds of mushrooms per log.
All right.
But it all varies on temperature and the type of wood. And hey.
No, put that shot, bro.
Yeah. And yeah, so it varies on the species and the type of wood and the environment, but I find that I can get about 7 pounds, sometimes more.
How many logs can one of these bags of spawn inoculate?
One 5-pound bag of sawdust like this will inoculate between 20 and 25, sometimes 30 logs.
All right.
All right, so we're all done with that.
Here.
You're all done with that, Cesare?
No.
All waxed?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Pick up your log and carry over to some Cesare.
Okay, we have 5 different species here, so we're trying to keep them separate. Grinder adapter tool, and then I bought these bits that fit into this tool, and they're 12 millimeter. And they have a stop on them, about the same size as the plug.
Okay.
And I put it on the angle grinder because it's just a ton faster, and than like a regular hand drill. And you'll see it just works a lot better.
get better.
Basically,
If we want
what I
to
try to
go
do
there.
with the pattern here is make it about 4 inches apart. Doesn't need to be perfect. And then on the opposite rows, I try to make it so it's odd spacing. And create that's what's called the diamond pattern, and it just sort of spreads out when we put the spawn in, it spreads it out so it
Can I see the diamond
colonizes.
pattern?
Yeah, you can see one row is up here, next row comes down, just a little offset. Just spreads out the mycelium. Alright, so one guy can get on this side inoculating. I'll do another log, and we can get another guy on that side inoculating.
Joshua, I know you, baby.
And then,
Not yet.
And then
Come on, that way now, babe.
bottleneck will probably be the waxing for the time being, and then we back up a little bit and then catch up with ourselves and go from there. But we can switch it up too. Get you guys to do the logging.
Oh, I want milk on it more.
You soon help, sweetheart.
First we're starting with this pile here. Beeswax. Same wax that goes over cheese.
Okay.
But you can use beeswax, whatever other types of wax are around here. I just brought that with me.
Music. Wow.